What has happened in Oklahoma is years ago, when horizontal drilling was just at 10 to 15%, they decided we needed to implement incentives to encourage the oil and gas industry to start doing more horizontal drilling. Now that our industry in Oklahoma is at 80% horizontal drilling, the Republicans are still saying that we need this incentive to continue to support that industry. Last time I checked, an incentive is to help a new industry get off the ground and gain ground in Oklahoma.
What's up?
So basically, we have been up here trying to talk to representatives. They've been very unreceptive to us at this point. We went and sat in the House gallery. Have to give props to Senator Cate Wilde of Oklahoma City as they were discussing a long lateral bill that will benefit the big oil companies here in Oklahoma. She stood up in debate and said, if we're going to discuss the oil and gas company, then gross production tax needs to be a part of it. At that point, the entire gallery erupted in applause and the Senate was called back to order. But we are proud to be here to stand against the big oil companies in Oklahoma and demand 7% for gross production tax.
This are down to the wire. They've got to pass, any revenue measures they pass have to be done by midnight tomorrow on Sunday, and in order for it to be signed by next week. Now, that's things where, like, we say it has to be done, but they could also they could call a special session. Hi, I'm Andy Moore, and I'm the Executive Director of Let's Fix This.
Okay, and what is Let's Fix This doing today?
So today we are part of the Save Our State Coalition, which is a group of about 20 organizations, and we are working just to get regular folks to come to the Capitol to let their voices be heard. The legislature doesn't usually work on Saturday, but because it's the end of session, they are here working on Saturday, which is great news because that means all the public employees and all the teachers, everyone else who has a regular job, can come up here and actually get a chance to meet with the representatives and the senators. The gross production tax has been kind of the lightning rod issue, but letting folks know that this is really important. They need to get here and to speak to their legislators.
And how can they find you?
So we're online, letsfixthisok.org. That's our website, and there's links to our social media, but basically it's Let's Fix This OK on Facebook and Twitter. You can find us there as well.
And what kind of experience do they need?
No experience. I'm new to this too. I just started this last year as kind of a big happy accident. I wanted to come to the Capitol with some of my friends because we should all be more involved. I was not good. I didn't write letters, didn't make phone calls, and I thought, well, let's go all in and do it. And it turns out there's lots of folks who feel the same way. So whether it's your first time or your 100th time, just come up here. We have a great mix, and usually about half the group is brand new. And we are happy to walk with you. We find offices. Every day I come, I learn something new. I meet someone new, and it's scary and exciting and awesome all at the same time.
I told them, I said, we've got members who are going to graduation, so we're doing other things this weekend because they didn't plan on being in this weekend. They didn't tell us we were going to be in this weekend until a day and a half ago, right? So I told them ahead of time. I said, just to be negotiating in good faith. If we strike a deal, we'll need to do a concurrent special session, and my guys will be there. All 26 of my votes will be there if they want to go to 5% of gross production tax and a cigarette tax increase. We're there. But if they continue to stick to their 4% rate and only asking oil and gas to pay $13 million, our caucus will fight.
And what's the mood been like?
It's up and down. It's as soon as you think we have like the power to make a change, then you learn that the caucus might be falling apart from the pressure from the big oil around the state, and so we're worried about that. But as long as the caucus sticks together, then they can really push some change this year.
What would you like to see from the Democrats?
Unity.
And what would you like to see from the Republicans?
Reality. That's I mean, just to I feel like sometimes they're working in a universe that doesn't exist. I feel like if they ask their individual constituents like what they want, like they want us to fund core services. If you just ask like, is the government too big, and you include like everything, then they're gonna be, yeah, the government's too big. But if you're talking, do you want your schools to be there, do you want your roads to be paved, they're gonna say yes on all of that. It takes funding to do that.
I'm Nadine Gallagher. I'm a teacher here in Oklahoma. I'm also the chair of the 5th Democratic Congressional District. They don't want to pay their fair share. Yeah. They would rather have our teachers be the lowest paid teachers in the country. We are losing teachers at an alarming rate. There are, I think, over 1,000 emergency certifications, and there are still classrooms with no teachers.
And we're here on a Monday, and they worked through the weekend.
Yeah.
Have they just like not had enough time to?
They've had since January. They put through their nonsense bills and their silly bills, and then they wait till the last 2 weeks to do the budget. Do your budget first. I do my budget first, pay my bills first, and then I go out to dinner or I go on vacation. Not after my bills are paid, though.
Do you feel like they forgot, or is this part of a negotiation?
No, every
tactic?
single year they do this. They wait till the last 2 weeks, and then it's like, hurry, hurry, hurry. Whatever thing throws at the wall, whatever sticks, we'll work with it. But we're not putting it up with it. It's enough.
I'm Cate Wilde, and I'm one of the organizers of this event. And that's me.
Where are we?
We are at the state capitol right now. We are fighting for 7% gross production tax on oil production, because right now it's stagnant at 2%. And we have lots of oil lobbyists here, energy sector lobbyists who are trying to drive it down. And, where the Democratic legislators will not budge from 5%, the Republican legislators will not go above 4%. So they've been stuck negotiating this 1% for the last 2 weeks. And they have a deal, then it falls apart, then they have a deal again, and then it falls apart. And it's mostly because people like Harold Hamm and Larry Nichols keep either phoning in to Governor Mary Fallon, or they drop off charter buses full of people, paid protesters, to come here and hold signs and beg for their jobs, as if teachers and nurses and mental health workers and everybody else in the state doesn't have to already beg for their jobs.
There's enthusiasm here.
Yes, a lot of enthusiasm.
And has it been like this for a while? Yeah, I guess you guys showed up at about 4 o'clock, right?
We showed up around 4 o'clock, and the truth is that we don't intend to leave until we see our demands met.
The sad thing is that all we're asking them is not to leave education in shambles, not to destroy mental health, not to leave our infrastructure crumbling where bridges are collapsing across Oklahoma, not to leave addiction as a problem that no one can deal with, rural hospitals shutting down, schools going to 4-day weeks, classes with double the number of students because they can't find the teachers leaving in droves. I don't care how much oil you drill, people will not come to Oklahoma if you destroy the fabric of the entire state. And I don't understand how they don't get that.
My name is Michael Bell. I am a Southern Arapaho of the Cheyenne Arapaho tribes. I'm also a Chamorro from the island of Guam in the Pacific Ocean. It's a Micronesian island.
And where are we?
We're right now under the rotunda of the Oklahoma State Capitol building. And we are protesting to make sure that these legislators understand that this gross production tax will not be anything less than 7%. And that's giving them a lot.
And why is that important to you?
It's important to me because I'm an educator. I went to school at Oklahoma Baptist University as a Gates Millennium Scholar. I owe no penny to Oklahoma Baptist University. I am proud of my education. I'm proud of my experience in the field of education. I've taught at Oklahoma City Public Schools. I've taught at Edmond Public Schools, and I've also taught under the Department of Interior in the Bureau of Indian Education at Riverside Indian School, just north of Anadarko, Oklahoma. So I have been in the trenches for quite some time now, and I believe in our students. I believe in our human beings here in Oklahoma. If we could just make a way, I'm banking on the fact that there can be a will, that these students will be inspired and make something of themselves so that they can contribute, even while they're students, to voice their opinions, to voice their values, whatever virtues they espouse in this community of the state of Oklahoma, which was previously called Indian Territory.
At 7%, people are saying it's a $313 million revenue increase. We are still needing to raise $1 billion.
Right.
So what else are we talking
So
about?
you got your personal income tax rate, right?
Is that even on the table?
Well, it should be on the table. And if it's not on the table, the question needs to be, why isn't it? Because that's where we were. We were at 5.25. it was reduced to 5%, and we're saying those that make $100,000, $200,000, et cetera, go back up to the 6 and 7%.
Yeah.
Upper income.
Amen.
7 and 7.
That, you guys, there you go.
7 and 7.
And so we had a plan. You all know Restore Oklahoma, Restoring Oklahoma plan. It's there. It fills the deficit. There were no cuts involved. And we just think it's a common sense approach moving forward. So when you all say, how do we fill it? The plan is already out there, right? Not only did we cover the $800 million deficit, we had additional monies that could be generated, right? But it was a package deal, you guys. It was a package deal. And we're saying, don't just keep shooting at us just what you want and excluding GPT, you know? And we're saying on all wells is what we were saying, you know?
I have a question, Legislator Goodwin, if you don't mind, just kind of shed some light. You know, you're talking about how you're for the people and this kind of thing. I did want to ask you.
I got a question for you. When you just said to me, you said you sound like you're for the people and all that. Do you question that?
No, I was just repeating back what you said.
Yeah, well, let me just say this. The district that I represent, right, is actually, if you look at all of America, right, you got the 2%, right, and then you got the rest of us, right? So pretty much I represent the rest of us because that makes up the bulk of what your constituency would be. So
Okay, that's great.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's talk about another vote then. We had HB 1123. Do you remember that?
You got to tell me what it is specifically.
Okay, that's the protest bill.
Yeah.
That's the one in response to Standing Rock.
Yeah. I spoke on behalf of that.
Okay.
Okay. As a matter of fact, I thought it was wrong. I think it's wrong to say that you have to have.
There you go.
That you're going to be considered, you know, some kind of conspiracy theorist. That you're somehow, even if you pay for a plane ticket to get someone to a protest, I think that's wrong. Yeah. I think it's wrong that it was, you know, we went from a misdemeanor to a felony. We already have trespassing laws on the books. Okay. Right. So I'm glad that we're on the same page on that.
We are.
And as a matter of fact, I brought up.
And I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but just for the cameras here, how did you vote?
I voted. I voted. I was totally opposed. There are two bills actually. One even talks about even if you have intent, which is ridiculous. Right? And it's talking about critical infrastructures, right?
Organizations.
Right? And it's so on both of those, I was opposed to that, the fact that they were brought up. Again, we already have laws on the books. And what those were doing, it was specifically in response to what happened at Standing Rock. Right. And I asked that question on the floor.
Thank you.
And at first, they were just, no, but it is. And later on, as the conversation we had it, they did acknowledge that, yeah, it had to do with some things that had been happening at Standing Rock. And I think they called them bad actors or something.
Yeah, right.
You know, did you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, I'm like, seriously?
So how do we vote? How did you vote?
No, I'm telling you, whatever it was worded, I voted the way you would have wanted me to vote, okay? All right?
There are a lot of people who just don't know what to do. And even as we're here, a lot of us are not regulars at the Capitol. We're not paid lobbyists.
Right.
So what's the most effective way to help you? You know, phone calls, email, what actually sways legislators?
Well, I think folks that find out the folks that are not thinking like you, find out who their constituents are, right? So where do they live, and what are the folks saying in that particular district? Because that particular official is going to be really concerned about the folks that elected him or her. They're really concerned about that, right? So what you have to do is get to the very folks that allowed them to go up and down this hallway.
Their voters.
Right? And then they begin to think twice, as opposed to yielding to, as you say, the lobbyists and big business. They get to thinking about their position and what that means for them, right?
I'm Adrienne Gautier, and I'm the chair of the Red Earth Group Sierra Club in Norman. And we've been working on this issue for quite a while with all these other individuals and other groups. It's an issue that affects everyone, the environment, because we want, first of all, to save our state parks, and we are proponents of renewable energy, and we actually wanted to keep the wind incentives, which got axed because the legislature said that we couldn't afford them. So we are very concerned about oil and gas incentives being kept in place. Not the incentives, but the low corporate tax.
Right.
It's way below any other state by far in the United States, and it needs to go back up to 7%. I think the citizens have been amazing. I think there have been lots of different groups that we've found, mainly, I keep looking at Linda because she's one of our citizen lobbyists for the Sierra Club, but we have been, we've organized some rallies, we've taken part in rallies that other people have organized. This we just came to as individuals. This is not a Sierra Club thing at all. We just came. So I think that the citizen involvement has grown. The only problem I found is it needs to start sooner. The anti-protest bills, which we knew about in February, and we're working on a lobbying legislation. A lot of people didn't find out until they're already through committee, and the budget is always later in the session, so but you got to start thinking about it and organizing it quickly. And I think all in all, this was actually better than it could have been. But it's the kind of thing where we're in the 11th hour now, and there's some people that are just finding out about it. So it's not the enthusiasm that needs to change, but kind of the timetable, I think, in order for it to be effective. And to find out who our allies are in the legislators. And, it might surprise you who some of them are and some of them are not.
So regarding the organization that needs to happen, the better organization, how do people find you or find, like, the Sierra Club? I know this wasn't an event specifically for the Sierra Club, but will they, if they find you, can they find out more about these things through them?
Yeah, absolutely. The Sierra Club, we had an event, it was called a flash lobbying, 2 weeks ago. And so we created the event on Facebook and we spread it around. And every single event that I've gone to, except for this one, and that doesn't mean anything, that just hasn't found it, there's always what group are you in? Who are you? Let's share information. There's a huge effort towards coalition building with different groups and organizations now. But we're of course on Facebook. We're the Red Earth Group Sierra Club. There's also an Oklahoma chapter Sierra Club. And we actually have a whole legislative section in the Sierra Club, and you can go on the website and find out what all of the bills. There were, 40 anti-environment or anti-democracy bills this year. You can learn about them right there on the website. So it's a very organized legislative effort with the Sierra Club. A lot of groups are not as organized on that level, but they have a huge Facebook presence and they can rally the groups and get them out here. So,
if they're hesitant, and we all understand there are people like this who are hesitant to get personally involved, can they donate?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
I'm so unused to that question. Yes, and you can join the Sierra Club if you go to the chapter website, Sierra Club Oklahoma chapter. There's a join or donate button right then and there.
Perfect.
And we do a lot of lobbying, legislative efforts. So,
good. Great. Well, thanks for talking.
These Republican representatives I'm speaking to up here are blaming it on the Democrats, or saying the Democrats need to compromise. They're already compromising. They're bringing things to the table. It is time for the Republicans to step up and compromise back. They need to accept the 5%. That is a good deal. That moves us forward. But the discussion will not be over about the gross production tax, because for us to restore our budget to what it was before Mary Fallin came into office, we need to restore the gross production tax to 7%, and we need to restore the income tax to what it was. Restoring the income tax and raising it 1 point will bring in $1 billion for the state. We need real solutions on the table if we're going to move forward as a state.
If people want to help let their voices be known, where do they go? Who do they talk to?
They just need to show up to the Capitol, and they need to find any representative who will listen to them. When they go in to speak to those representatives, they need to tell them personally, this is how I am affected by what is going on in this state.
Okay, well then I'll wait right there outside this door. No. I'm going to ask you one last time to get outside this door. Get your fucking hands off.